Authors Republic presents Girl on a Train. Written by A.J. Waines, read by Melissa Chambers. Part 1. Anna. Chapter 1. Sunday afternoon, September 19th. It was supposed to be a mindless train journey home. Peaceful, sleepy, uneventful. I deliberately chose the quiet coach when I boarded at Portsmouth and Southsea. True to form, most people were chatting inanely on their mobile phones or leaking hissing drum beats from their headphones, so I kept going, looking through an area without cackling, post-hen parties, toddlers or badly tuned radios. There is nothing worse than being forced to listen to other people's choice of music, except perhaps other people's children's choice of music. As I entered the next carriage, my foot caught in a loose strap, and I found myself spread-eagled over a table occupied by 4 men in rugby shirts, building a tower of lager cans. I managed to extricate myself from a chorus of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot without too many innuendos and strode on, leaving whoops and cheers in my wake. My simple quest for a quiet spot was proving an impossible task. There was far too much exuberance for a Sunday afternoon. I'd anticipated the entire train subdued with a post-Saturday night slump, not feverish with squeals and giggles. Most people I passed were under 20, wearing Wellington boots. Then it clicked. Probably returning in droves from late summer festivals on the Isle of Wight. It was the mud caking everything below the knee that gave them away. I was glad my music festival days were over. Well, camping out at them at least. Memories of waking up with a soggy backside had put me off sleeping under the stars for life, having pitched the tent after dark and failed to notice the terror wasn't firmer. Was it too much to ask for a seat that wasn't surrounded by dangling wet socks, indie band posters or discarded soya milk cartons? I clambered over several 3-story rucksacks, complete with sleeping bags and rolled-up foam mats, piled high in the gangway, and settled for an empty airline seat next to a woman looking out of the window. I slung my overnight bag on the rack, dropped my handbag between my feet, and sat back with a not unjustified sense of achievement. I gave a cordial glance to the woman beside me and felt an immediate kinship with her. She didn't seem to be part of the raucous melee, and looked to be in her late 20s like me. My smile, however, was wasted, as she failed to register my presence. She wore the kind of fixed stare that made me want to flap my hands up and down in front of her face and ask, "Is anyone there?" Her straggly hair had a stiff fringe like a yard broom that looked like it would move all at once if touched. Someone should have told her that the specs were all wrong. They were chunky, like the ones you get in joke shops that have a plastic nose and moustache attached. The right style might have lifted her appearance out of the plain zone into one bordering on pretty. There was something else, however, that struck me as soon as the train left the station. She was edgy, agitated, checking her watch every few moments. I heard her sigh several times and her neck craned back and forth as she looked up and down the aisle. As I tried to settle into my novel, it started to become distracting, and after about 5 minutes, annoying. I turned Michael Bublé up high on my iPod in a bid to block her out. Before long, the guard appeared. "Waterloo, Waterloo," he hummed like the ABBA song as he clipped tiny boxes into the corner of our tickets. My shoulders dropped. Little Miss Fidget was going to be beside me all the way to the end of the line. As if to confirm my fears, she wriggled in her seat, drummed her fingers on the edge of her bag, sniffed, pushed up her glasses, and then started the cycle over again. I remembered I'd bought a Sunday paper at the station, so I pulled down the supplement from the rack and offered it to her. Her hands were shaking as she took it, and she made an attempt at smiling, but I noticed the magazine stayed rolled up beside her seat. I saw, too, that she hadn't removed her anorak, even though the heating was set for Arctic conditions. Was she ill? Mentally unstable? She clung to...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?